What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing another R4T rigs video. We're going to be talking about this 4Runner here. This is our 2016 Toyota 4Runner Trail Premium. So this one here, before they started calling it the TRD off-road package, they called it the Trail package. So this one here is wrapped in this Quicksand color. It is a matte Quicksand color, and we'll talk a bit about everything that's on it. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and get started in the front here. So first of all, we did a TRD Pro Grille upgrade. So this is our grille. So this is the one with the OEM color, which is the silverish color. And then of course we had to throw in the grille lights up here as well. This is the smoked amber version, so when they're off you don't really see it, but when they're on they are amber. Right down here we have the CBI off-road aluminum bumper, so that way we save a lot of the weight. In here, right behind the light bar cutout, we have a Diode Dynamics 30-inch light bar with amber on the sides. And then behind the bumper, we have a Smitty built winch. Normally we would use a worn with a synthetic rope, but we wanted to try out the Smitty built, and it's been decent. Definitely doesn't recover as fast as a worn, but it's a nice affordable option. Right in front of it, we have the Factor 55 flat link and fair lead, which we always use on pretty much every vehicle just because it's the top quality recovery gear. In the fog pocket, we have another Diode Dynamic light. This is the SS3. This one is street legal, so we could have these on pretty much any time we want. And we have that one wired up with the factory dial, so that way we can just flip it instead of taking up another switch location. As far as headlights, these are the MORIMOTO XB headlights. This is the amber version, so when the DRL lights are on, this strip right here is amber. And then down here you guys will see 3 projectors. That gives it a really aggressive look. That in there, 2 of them are the low beams, the other one is the high beam. They also have a cool startup sequence. When you turn it on, it will blink 1, 2, 3, and then light up and then retract. So pretty cool startup sequence to the headlights. Since we are on the lighting topic, we'll talk about the ditch lights and roof rack lighting as well. So on the ditch lights, we have the Diode Dynamic SS3s. This one currently has a cover on it, so that way you can cover it to protect the lens. And then up here, we have a Prinsu roof rack with a 40-inch Diode Dynamics, all white up there. That way we can shine as far as possible. And on our hood, we have this little black matte section. That way we reduce some of the glare that comes from the roof light bar when we actually use it. Underneath here, we have some skids. So we have all the way from the front to the back, we have CBI skids. These are also aluminum, that way we can save some weight. And then next to that, we have the R4T lower control arm skid plates in the exact same finish as the CBI skid plates. That way it matches everything. And then while we are down here, we will talk about the suspension as well. So what you guys see right here are the Dobinsons MRR Kit. This kit has a 3-way adjuster. That way you can adjust pretty much anything you could want out of it. These have been amazing. They are probably one of our favorite shocks in general, just because they are so comfortable. And then right behind the front coilover, we have this little guy right here. This is something people often always forget to do, but this is the bump stop. So this on here is the Durobump bump stop. So the reason why we choose Durobump is because this one is a progressive bump. So on the very tip of it it is softer than it is in the middle and then at the very end. So that way when you hit your lower control arm on that bump going over a speed bump or a dip, it's gonna progressively hit that bump, so that way you don't get a harsh bump from the very beginning. So this is definitely one of my favorite mods when you guys are doing the suspension. So don't forget to do your DUROBUMPS when you guys are upgrading your suspension. Back here on the rear suspension, we also have the Dobinsons MRR, and you guys can see right there is where the adjusters are. And back here is not just your typical 4Runner lift. So those super long coils you see right there and the track bar that runs from there to there, this is Dobinson's long travel rear suspension setup. So those of you guys who have a 4Runner, you guys who off-road knows that the 4Runner doesn't really have a lot of rear travel. So that kit right there allows for the 4Runner to have a lot of travel in the rear end compared to factory. So that right there is probably the coolest suspension mod that you guys could do to your 4Runner as far as performance off-road. And then the same thing goes for the rear. So right there is the Durobump for the rear. This one is a little bit taller than your average Durobump just because we have that long travel kit in the rear. So we need a little bit longer of a Durobump or a bump stop to use and to hit on our axle when we go over dips and bumps. And then as far as the tires, these are the MT TOYO Open Country tires in a 315/70/17. So it is almost a 35-inch tire. And the reason why we chose that size versus a true 35 is just to save a little bit of space back here. That way we don't pop this cap off, because if you guys have a 4Runner, you guys know this cap comes off really easy just because it is only secured by one bolt. So with this big tire, we did have to do a chop, as you can see right there. The chop allows us to not rub on the mount, so that way, one, it's not super annoying, and then two, you don't have issues like cutting up and chewing away at your tires. Working our way on over here, we have the R4T Rock Sliders. These are DOM. These are the first production version, so they do stick out a little bit further than usual, but the production version now is tucked in about 1 inch, so there's not a big difference. There's just a little bit less of a step for your foot, but still enough to use it to get in the truck. And then right here on the side view mirror, we have the R4T turn signals. These are the sequential versions, but I have noticed that some 4Runners don't have the turn signals from factory. So if you guys don't, unfortunately, you guys can't get the turn signals. However, since we're on this topic, I want to talk about one of my favorite mods. So this here is the spotter mirror. This mirror has a nice convex mirror on the corner, so that way you can see your back tire when you guys are backing up, or when you guys are on the highway, you guys can see if you guys are in the lanes or not. So definitely a must-have mod there. Right up here on the window, you guys will see a wind deflector. These are the AVS very low profile wind deflector. These are nice because that way when it is raining outside, you guys can still crack your window without getting any rain inside. So that's one of our favorite mods as well, and it's super affordable. Back here for tail lights, we have the MORIMOTO XB tail lights. These we obviously did to match the front, but they also have a super cool design and a very cool turn signal pattern. So they blink kind of in towards each other like this. So very cool, a little smoked lens on it. This makes it super aggressive and it just looks super clean. Back here for the rear bumper, This is the Expedition 1 rear bumper. This is steel, but this is one of my favorite bumpers on the market. And the reason being is because of their latch mechanism. So this right here is their patented latch mechanism. It has a little handle down here you can grab, open it up, it'll unlatch from in there. And I'm doing this all one-handed. So there is the latch right there, okay? And then of course, once you open it all up, there's a pin in here that will drop and lock it in place. So of course, having a rear tire isn't the same if you guys don't have a rear tire carrier. So we got an angled tire carrier, so that way you get the most angle out of it when you guys are off-road, and it just looks cool. So of course you guys can move it up and down depending on your tire size. So we have the 35, so we have it mounted where it would make sense. To put this back, you guys just need to use your thumb. Again, all one-handed. Swing that over all the way close, and then right here you just lift that up, push it in, and then one-handed latch it in place. So that right there is super cool. Normally with bumpers with tire carrier, you guys need two hands to do that, but that is the reason why I love this bumper so much. This long weird looking thing right here is the rear camera relocation kit. It does look funny, and honestly after putting it on, you don't really need it, because even at the factory location you can see the majority of everything that is behind you. But this is nice just to kind of move it further out and give you a sense of where you guys are at because of the rear tire. Before, when it was at the factory location, you kind of was at the mercy of where the camera was, and you couldn't really guide where your tire was, so you would tend to hit things that are normally look a little bit further away. So in my opinion, I guess that's worth it, but it just looks goofy, but it does the job, so whatever. And then right here we have the Westcott Designs ladder, little bottle opener here, that's stainless steel. They use a 2x1 load bar as their steps, so you can mount stuff to it like the R4T GoPro mount. Drop a few track nuts in there and then mount your GoPro, and then you can record behind you. Right here we have the R4T Rotopax mount. So obviously we made it the X shape like the Rotopax. That way you can mount a 2-gallon or a 3-gallon up here as well. So that's where that is, and that's what that does. And then down here in the bumper, I forgot to mention the same Diode Dynamics SS3 here, but this has a wide lens, so that way it has a nice spread. This is tied to the reverse light, so that way when I put it in reverse, it just floods back here with light. That way I can see, just because the reverse light in the tail lights are really just meant to be indicator lights and doesn't really help with anything as far as seeing behind you, and that's why we have that. All right guys, that is going to be it for this episode of R4T Rigs. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We will have the link to all of the products down in the description, and of course you guys can always find it at Runnin4Tacos.com. And if you guys are not subscribed to the channel already, consider subscribing, and then we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.